freaking first cut. Golly.
Welcome to the First Cut Podcast. I'm Rick Gehman, and this is your round one recap. Wow, for this week's Charles Schwab Challenge. Joining me to break it all down, Patrick McDonald is here. Patrick.
Sounds like everything's getting knocked down today, Rick. Maybe even dragged. Some would even say. But
I smacked my microphone, and it is now damaged beyond repair.
Damage beyond repair. Probably a mic north of $80, I would assume.
Yeah.
Knowing you got the high quality stuff that, I mean, you'd have to be dragged by a car for that thing to get broken, probably.
I've got bougie taste, and it extends to my microphones. Indeed, we will be covering the happenings in Fort Worth as round one is just wrapping up. But the big news in our world, Patrick, and honestly, it is definitely, it has breached just the golf world, is that Scottie Scheffler and his arrest from last week has another chapter of that book. Today, a press conference was held by Louisville Metro Police Department along with Louisville Mayor, and they gave the latest updates on the investigation. Is investigation the right word?
There's an internal investigation into the officers' actions, the protocols, following police policy with the body cam and all that fun stuff. But I think for Scottie Scheffler, you can call it the charges, I guess, the current case going on against him.
Okay. Yeah, we can go with that. Well, it was confirmed that Louisville Metro PD detective Brian Gillis was not, well, he was wearing his body cam. He did not activate his body cam, which is against LMPD policy, and that he will be reprimanded in some way that we don't know yet or will not be announced. Is that correct?
Yeah, the chief, Jaqueline, her last name's long. Apologies in advance.
Gwen Villaroel.
Yeah, that's a prime name. If it has a dash in it, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to butcher it. So the chief pretty much said it's on his permanent record. Whatever that means, but it is
probably not that much, but it is on. I don't know. I'm not a law. I mean, as I've now retired from geopolitical issues. I am now a law enforcement expert. I am now a trial litigator. I am now a lot of other things along with Golf Czar. The big news, the big release, the big drop was the footage. The footage. Patrick, the tapes are out, and this tape that we're going to show you is from a stationary pole, like a traffic cam, that is across the street that points at the entrance of Valhalla. You'll be able to see it in a second. Not yet, Josh. The traffic jam. You'll be able to see Scottie Scheffler in his courtesy car turning left into Valhalla, and you'll be able to see the interaction that he has with the detective. Have I set that up properly?
Correct. And I think one more thing, I know our listeners and viewers, wide range of age. If there's any kids out there watching this, just make sure your parents consent. There possibly some violence involved. So we just want to make sure everyone is prepared to watch this video.
Yes. Good call. All right, Josh, run it. So this is Scheffler's car turning left here. That is detective. Okay, take it away, Josh. So first off, what you just saw over those buses there, and we're going to show it plenty more times, in that yellow jacket is Detective Gillis running towards Scottie Scheffler's car as he turns left into Valhalla. It appears that he either smacks Scottie's windshield to stop him or throws something at the windshield.
I believe he uses his flashlight, the butt end of it, and hits it into his window. But I think a key point about that 5-second clip is that is not the quote unquote initial interaction. Right.
There is no known footage right now of the interaction prior to this, but we are to believe this is not the initial interaction.
Correct. And so according to the police report, he kind of grabbed on to the car, right? And Scheffler kept on driving anyways. Darlington tweeted out at the time that he attempted to attach himself to the car. So honestly, I was hoping we'd get a video of him like on top body surfing, but that just was not the case. So this is assuming this is after Scheffler disobeyed whatever signal he gave him, if he saw it or not, whatever. And he drove to the entrance, and you could tell the guy was a little irked, I think.
Yeah. Okay. So pay attention, because it happens right at the start of this video, and Josh will let this run for a little bit longer. Go ahead and hit it. All right, here we go. Car turning in, Gillis running towards it. There's the flashlight. And then immediately right to the handle of the car, Patrick, he is trying to open up the driver's door.
Does he reach in?
Aggressively.
Looks like he reaches in.
Definitely reaches in, because you'll see in a second, he sticks his head in right there.
I didn't realize that.
Now his whole head and shoulders are in.
Yeah, he's in deep. He's in way too deep.
I don't know if he's trying to turn the car off. I don't know if he's trying to put it into park. I don't know what he's doing, but he is in that car. Now, we've let this run for about 25 seconds or so. Now is the first time another police officer comes over.
Correct. And I think, so the one thing that Officer Brian, don't confuse him with Shane Gillis, has going for him is the Darlington tweet that he tried to attach him. Another person who was with ESPN said that he saw the officer on the ground. He didn't know if it was because he was attached to the car or if he just fell just because it was so dark out and it was raining and it was tough to see. But the bad news for this officer, I think, is kind of something you said, where why did no one else react, right? If you saw like an officer on the ground, you're probably going to, like, your fellow officer would react, you would think. And it seemed like everyone was kind of just standing there minding their own business up until he reached Scheffler's car and went halfway in pretty much.
Listen, this is my opinion. This is not the opinion of Scottie Scheffler, Scottie Scheffler's lawyer, CBS Sports, the First Cup. None of this. My opinion, the police report is at best dramatic.
Ooh.
And at worst, some BS. Okay. There just none of it. Okay. So if we assume there's an initial interaction prior to this that was so disastrous and worth rising to an arrest, why does no other cop believe that or think that anything, like, there is just literally no movement until 30 seconds of Detective Gillis escalating this traffic stop? I don't even know if it's considered a traffic stop.
Yeah, I think that's honestly the most damning thing against him is there's no reaction from anyone else. You kind of just see him running out of nowhere towards Scottie Scheffler's car.
Right.
You would think like the people at the gate next to him, whether those are volunteers or whoever, they would probably go to help the officer if he's on the ground or something like that, or there'd be some sort of rush. But I mean, honestly, it is, of course, there are just buses blocking the exact vantage point we need to see exactly what happened.
Yeah, maybe that's
here's the thing though. Are there people in those buses? There gotta be.
I don't know if there has to be.
Okay. Maybe not.
Because I was talking about this as well. So I believe, and please don't quote me on this part. I believe these are shuttle buses, and I believe that this is the similar style of shuttle bus that was involved in the fatal accident.
Okay.
And I believe that accident occurred while the bus was empty, while they're just kind of getting them in position to, they have to disperse to different parking lots. They have to disperse to different areas. Remember, it's like 5 o'clock in the morning, 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. Those buses are trying to get to their starting points. I don't believe there are people on those buses at this point.
Gotcha. Because you would think this day and age, you're probably right, someone on that bus would have tweeted out everything, There were videos of Will Zalatoris and Austin Eckroat walking to the course from buses. Someone would have taken a phone out. So you're probably right.
If those buses had people in there, we'd have like 15 more videos.
Yeah, this thing would be open and shut, whatever happened.
So, based on what I've seen, seems like a pretty big overreaction. I still see the pants attached to Detective Gillis, so they're, at least not destroyed where he couldn't wear them and complete the arrest. It seems, Patrick, like this is like charges have not been dropped. The Scheffler lawyer has kind of dug his feet in and said, yeah, the video is exactly what Scottie described has happened. And we will not be settling. If they can either drop the charges or we will go to trial.
Yeah. So I think a couple things need to play out. One, the dashboard cam, which was 55 minutes long, around the 25-minute mark, you could see Officer Gillis kind of come into view and talk to the other officers, explain the whole situation. He's like, look at my pants. He does that whole spiel. You can tell
he did do the look at my pants.
Yeah, and he like pulled. He's like, look at all this, and he like tried to attach himself to the car. We need to see the pants. This is like, honestly, it's if like the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants like had a couple too many sequels. This is where we land. Not only do we need to see the pants, but we need to hear about the other accounts, people on the ground. That will obviously come out as this case plays out, but. The thing about Officer Gillis also that came out today, Rick, I don't know if you saw this. He's got a bit of a bad boy streak.
He does.
You see that? So he's been reprimanded over the past decade. He did donuts in his cop car with an intoxicated civilian in the front seat in a parking lot, pursuing someone not wanted and not reporting pursuit to dispatch. Look, I'm all for having fun. I understand the donut thing. Like, I'm not really donuts. I get those are fun, but the others, I don't know. So it's not a great look that one, he didn't have his body camera on. Two, he has a history of not being super by the book, and this happens.
Yes. So he's been officially reprimanded and suspended a handful of times for that incident. He was suspended without pay for 5 days. He was suspended for 1 or 2 days, a handful of other times. This is, and I know it shouldn't, like, based on what we have, like the legal system is the legal system, right? Like I get all that, but there, with what we have, and if there is another video or another incident or whatever, benefit of the doubt comes into play in a big way, right? You are talking about what we've seen on film, along with a history of being reprimanded versus everything we know about Scottie Scheffler.
Yeah. And in the US, you know what? You're innocent until proven guilty.
It's true.
So
last thing, because we could talk about, we could recap this whole thing. And I'll just say this again, my opinion, if I was a Louisville resident, I'd be pissed that my tax dollars were going to this. And if they don't shut this down soon, they're going to be paying a settlement to Scottie Scheffler. And it's going to be coming out of taxpayer dollars. I cannot believe they have not just, if this is what they're going with, Scottie should sue them. This is outrageous.
He should become mayor.
Okay.
He should just take it over.
I mean, oh man, I would be fired up. I would be fired up about this. All right.
Got to see the pants, Rick.
Got to see the pants. Got to see the pants, and got to see the initial interaction, allegedly. Yes. Also, no other cop has their body camera on.
Yeah, I mean that's a good point. It's just not a good look, really, for the whole gang out there, which is it's unfortunate. It's an unfortunate misunderstanding.
All right. Golf was played in Fort Worth today. We are going to talk about that. We are going to reset here, and we're going to get you to the notables. But first, we're going to take a quick break and hear a word from our partners.
The UEFA Champions League final. This is as big as it gets. This is the final round. The kings of the Champions League. They are round Madrid.
This is the battleground.
Dortmund are into the Champions League final. I can't believe it. We can't believe it.
Ain't gonna stop me now. This is the final round.
All his dreams coming true.
Dortmund versus Real Madrid in the UEFA Champions League final, streaming live on Paramount Plus.
And we're back. All right. I'm fanning myself. I'm coming down from my boiling point there. And Patrick, golf was played and the afternoon wave got the best of it. As of right now, a couple guys out on the golf course, nearly a stroke easier in the morning. Our leader, though, comes from the afternoon wave, but we'll hold on to that for just a second. So as of right now, the early boys got the good side.
Yeah. What was it? About a stroke easier. I don't know if you just said that. Sorry. I have the ice machine. You did?
Yeah, I did. That's okay.
I have an ice machine behind me, just absolutely purring, and it's dumping.
Does it do cubed or crushed?
It does cubed.
Nice.
It's I'm not a huge fan of it just because of the noise. It's not mine. I'm helping the folks out do some stuff around the house this week. Had to fly in. Speaking of bougie, I do have a first class flight story for you. I don't know if we want to digress now or later.
Let's just do it now.
Okay, so I'm in seat 1A, obviously, A1 for 1A, and the guy comes in 1B. He's like one of the last guys, no big deal. Suit, tie, businessman, obviously, right? I mean, pinky's up in first class. First thing he does, Rick. He changes his socks. He changes his socks. He takes off the old, crumbles them up, puts on the new, and I'm like, what the hell is this guy doing?
I hate
it. Then I learn, I think, okay, maybe he had an earlier flight. The flight was around like 10 a.m. Maybe he flew through Charleston to get to D.C. Who knows? At the end of the flight, he goes to the flight attendant. He goes, they're talking about like cities, and he's like, yeah, well, I'm from Charleston. I live there. So I'm like, this man left his house in dirty socks with the plan to change them on the airplane.
So the only acceptable, and this is not acceptable, but the only acceptable thing is if he had to take his shoes off through security and got his socks on the nasty airport ground and he felt like he needed to change it. However, I know that if you are flying first class, you are usually given the TSA pre-check in which you would not have to take your shoes off. And also knowing that he had the extra pair so handy makes me think that he had planned this. And in that case, since I'm already litigating things, prison.
Straight to jail.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it was like, and then he was eating a Smucker's PB&J. I'm allergic to peanut butter, so it was just like, it was icing on the cake. It was like, all right, this guy wants me to die, I think.
There is just society. It's just not happening anymore.
No. And I mean, the whole, like, people take shoes off on the planes now, which
I barely take my shoes off to sleep. I never take my shoes off.
I don't understand people wanting their dogs out for public consumption. I'm sorry. Well, back to golf. Morning wave, stroke easier. Ice makers humming right now in the background. A lot of good scores out there early. Harman, Finau, Morikawa, whole gang. I think the course played pretty similar to what it normally does. The greens have to take a little bit more, right? We kind of saw something with Quail Hollow a couple years back or a couple weeks back with new greens being a bit bouncy. But we saw that if you're coming out of the rough, you really don't have a chance to hold some of these greens, which is fun. It's fun to watch.
It is fun. And speaking of letting their dogs out, Brian Harman, Bulldog, 4 under 66. He got all of his work done on his first 9, 4 under there. He played his last 10 holes, all at even par, making par on every single one of them. When you think of a golf course that is hemmed in with trees, that you can't really come out of the rough because you have to hit into firm surfaces, that kind of screams Brian Harman, does it not?
100%. And it's been a little bit of a quiet year for him, but you look at where he's popped up, Rick, it's like you said, those type of courses right there at the Players Championship. Had a good start at Harbortown. You throw in Colonial, where he's played well before. and he gets off to a fantastic start. The iron play was great. He didn't drive the ball too well. I think he missed 6 fairways, 8 out of 14, but he dotted 15 greens in regulation towards the top in approach play. Had some chances coming in. Obviously didn't take care of either of the par fives. So some room for improvement still. And I really like his chances moving forward. It was a great opening round, and I think he's going to be in the mix moving forward for the rest of this tournament.
Yeah, good start and plenty of room for improvement, which is usually a good combination when you are just one shot off the lead in at 4 under. Also in at 4 under, a 66, Tony Finau got his day started immediately with a birdie on number 10, and he rolled the rock. A couple of long putts that he made throughout the day. You tally them all up, and he gained 2.3 strokes putting. That was 9th best in the field. The complete opposite of Brian Harman is Tony Finau. So I guess there's a couple different ways you can get it done around here.
Yeah, and he has a good history here. I think from 19 to 22, 4 straight top 25 finishes. T4 is the highlight of that. I think a kind of distant T4, or no, not really. Maybe it was that Scheffler Burns playoff year. He finished T4, I think, a couple out of that playoff. But he hit the absolute crap out of his irons last week, Rick. It was ridiculous. We talked about it a little bit, where the putter outside of the first day at Valhalla was really, really bad. And he had it going today, and we saw what he could do when he has a cooperative putter. I think he has a new grip going. He's back to like the claw. He was kind of doing like both fingers down at one moment, and then now he's doing like it's a weird looking grip. It's weird.
Yeah, he's constantly changing. He's got a different one for this week, and so far so good through 18 holes. Those two are the notables of the quintet in at 4 under par. The others that join them, Davis Riley, Martin Laird, S.H. Kim, all with 66s. Also this morning, Colin Morikawa, a 2 under 68, only one blemish on the card. That was a bogey on number 6. Statistically, there was still some room for improvement here, Patrick, because it was 97th in strokes gained putting, losing over a stroke to the field there. So Colin in the mix, and like we talked about with Harman, a couple of different ways to get better.
Couple different ways, but 2 chip-in birdies, which is notable. The short game has been fantastic still. I know everyone's talking about, oh, the iron play is going to return. The iron play is going to return. Even him, he's saying like, yeah, I'm at like my B-C game with the iron play right now. I think we're trending in the right direction, and I think everything's going to work out fine. But you look at his stat profile, and the iron numbers aren't really too impressive. They're good, don't get me wrong. They're not like great for Colin Morikawa, and they might be trending in that direction. But this run, the short game has been really freaking good. It's the best of his career by far. I think he's like he's over half a stroke per round in the short in around the green, which is higher than any other mark so far in his career. So you add that in. The putter looked good for 54 holes last week at Valhalla. Sunday, it let him down. Today, it let him down as well. But if you bring that back into the mix as well, the iron play gets going. And the driver also probably like as good as he's ever driven the golf ball. It seems like he's in the middle of every single fairway. I know he doesn't hit it long, but you don't really have to here. And so it's a great course for him. He easily could have won in 2020 out of the COVID break. He missed the shorty against Berger. So it looks like he's right there again.
From the files of, well, I didn't see that coming. Max Homa, one of the pre-tournament favorites, shot an 8 over 78. There is only one golfer in this field who shot worse than him on Thursday. I'm sorry, Paul Haley. That was a 12 over 82. Max Homa did not make a birdie. Max Homa had his worst round since 2019 and one of the bottom 10 rounds of his career. Max Homa didn't do anything well. Patrick, he lost 2.5 strokes off the tee, hitting only 3 fairways. He actually was a 0 on approach, but he only hit 6 greens in regulation. He coughed up another 1.5 strokes around the greens, only got up and down 5 out of 12 times, and was miserable with the putter. 2.7 strokes to the negative there. He only made 49 feet worth of putts. Did I get everything?
I think there's what was in your tweet? 16% in one and dones. Is that correct?
6% in one and dones, but he was I think he was about 15 or 16% in fantasy lineup. So he was fairly popular this week. And all of those people are kissing their chances goodbye.
Yeah. So I searched Mac. I don't normally search names into the Twitter. And so I searched Max Homa. I was looking for like something. I saw your tweet. I was going to use it in the article, but I was like, I need like Tommy Tran on HQ was like, did you see Max Homa's shank? And so I was trying to find that video, which I never did. And the Max Homa tweets, pretty mean stuff out there. And I'm assuming that goes for pretty much every player on the PGA Tour when something bad happens. So probably the last time I'm going to search names on Twitter, the bettors and DFS players, they are freaking ruthless.
If you ever tweet or message an athlete about their performance, especially over your $5 7-leg parlay, please go play in traffic. Go play in traffic.
Take a lap.
Stare at the sun. Go do something, because I'm already sending people to jail. I'm ready to do it again.
Yeah, Rick, we got the judge. He's in his robes. He's got the fancy wig on. Got the gavel. Airplane guy, jail. Complainers, jail. It's playing traffic, take a lap, touch some grass, all the above. But yeah, definitely something I did not see coming from Max Homa, and it looks like he will not be around for the weekend unless he shoots, I don't know what, he gets to like 3 over, maybe 4 over.
Yeah, I mean, he is probably gonna have to get to, well, top 65 right now is 1 over, so let's call it 2 over.
Okay.
So he would have to shoot a 6 under round of, he needs a 64 tomorrow
in the afternoon.
And probably, yeah, he might need better than that.
Yeah. So he will be packing. Only a second miscut in like the last calendar year, pretty much.
There is another miscut streak that is currently on the line right now. We are going to talk about that and reveal the leader of this tournament. But first, we're going to take a quick break and hear a word from our partners.
Well, you need your sports news anywhere?
We've got breaking news to bring you.
Then get your sports anytime you want them. Big trade news overnight to discuss.
Because we know you need sports all the time.
A lot of movement in the rankings this week.
A legend adds to their legacy.
We're bringing you that breaking news right here on HQ.
CBS Sports HQ, anywhere, anytime, all the time.
And we're back. 36, Patrick. 36 is the number of consecutive cuts made by Scottie Scheffler. It is the second longest active cut streak on the PGA Tour. Do you know who has the longest cut streak?
I do. It is the PGA Championship winner, Xander Schauffele, 2022 Masters.
And do you know how many events that is?
44?
Oh, close. 47. Damn. 47 for Xander, 36 for Scottie, 22 for Rory. Those are the 3 longest streaks. It is not technically, I mean, he's probably going to make the cut. He's very good at golf, but he is on the wrong side of it right now. T79, 2 over par, and it started so well, Patrick. He birdied 2 of his first 4 holes, but he was even by the turn. The big number came on 13, the par 3, where he did something very un-Scottie-like. He kind of whiffed one into the water, never had a chance, goes to the drop zone, doesn't hit a particularly good shot from there, chips it on, misses a putt, added up 6. And now we've got to wonder if Scottie's going to be around for the weekend.
Yeah, there's obviously a lot going on in his mind. You see who he's paired with at that 2 over number. Guys like Austin Eckroat, guys like Michael Block.
Yep.
And you can't help but wonder if some of the biggest names in the game, if the lights are too bright there at Colonial with this new design, with all the extracurriculars going on, some guys doing commercials, some guys trying to get video of themselves outside the golf course, off the internet altogether. So you got to feel for the guy. That being said, Rick, whiff, I honestly thought it was a shank off the club face. I don't think it was. I think you're right with the whiff designation, but it was borderline shank. It was a really bad shot. Only guy in the water on that hole all day, I believe. The second shot zipped. it was kind of weird how it zipped back over the hill and then like it was pretty odd. And then bad chip had a tuft of grass behind it, triple bogey just like that. Outside that though, you take that one swing away. Pretty much, he's 1 under. He's right in the golf tournament, and he should be fine. But yeah, it stinks. 2 over par rounds in his last 3. Did Louisville PD break Scottie Scheffler? People are saying it. I am not, but people are. And I think he'll be fine. Isn't he like still the second favorite on the odds board?
Oh, maybe. Wouldn't he? Okay. He could find a lawyer. What if he misses every cut from here on out? Could he sue for like lost wages? Could he sue for like damages? I was probably going to make another 30 mil.
Like mental distress. I don't know what you can milk out of a state these days or a commonwealth. I believe Kentucky's a commonwealth, or a city. So well, I don't know. I don't know if he's really itching for the influx of cash. I think he was doing pretty good if I had to guess, just based on some of his prior winnings. But it's definitely a bummer with him outside the cut line, home outside the cut line, another big name right on the cut line with 18 to go. So hopefully both the Texans can make it into the weekend just to give this tournament some juice. But if not, it's gonna stink. It's gonna leave the door open for my guy Harris English to win probably. It's Commonwealth, isn't it?
I just want to see. Yeah, I just want to see how much money their men's basketball coach made. Public.
Calipari?
Is he back at Louisville?
Oh no, he just quit Kentucky. He's now at Arkansas.
Is Kentucky a public school or a private school?
Dude, I do not know.
It's got to be public school, right? University of Kentucky. Public.
What? Like, yeah, it's public. What's like the difference between public and private for schools? Like I went to a private high school. That all that meant was I had to wear a uniform.
Well, it also means that you probably. I'm guessing it was funded by you and not by public fund by the state or the city.
Okay, yeah, that is a neck on my part. Dumb question, straight to jail.
The reason I ask is because, like, listen, it all comes back to like taxpayers and government. If they're going to fund one thing, you got, it's a whole thing. I'm on my high horse today. Scottie Scheffler is over 2 over par 72. The man at the top of the board, who actually Scottie's only 7 shots back, and he's only 6 shots back of the real lead, is Charlie Hoffman, a 5 under 65. It would only be fitting if a Chuck won the Chuck. 3 birdies on the front, 2 more on the back, and Patrick, he did it. He did it from the most difficult wave. The only guy in the afternoon to really stack it up in this way. So I will tip my hat to Charlie Hoffman, though I'm not super optimistic that he's going to be around and in the mix.
Charlie Hoffman played in the PGA Championship. Did you know that?
Allegedly.
Yeah, he did. And he had some form coming into it too. T11 in Zurich, T4 in Corrales. Had the playoff loss, obviously, at the WM Phoenix Open in February to Nicholas Taylor. So, yeah, I don't know if he has a ton of staying power. He's got some pretty good history here. I mean, he finished T3 in 2021, which isn't all that long ago. A lot of green on this board. Has some good Texas connections as well. You think about Valero. He's a winner there. So maybe, Rick, the Seagull can fly around and just dump on people all week, but it's really congested at the top. A lot of people still tight. I think 60-ish people within 5 still. So a lot of golf to be played.
If the cut was 1 over, everybody who made the cut would be within 6.
Yeah, and we have seen at this golf course when Sam Burns won. Remember how different it played late that Sunday than early? And Burns just posted something, and then we had guys Davis Riley, Victor, and Scottie all just like limped to the finish line.
Yeah, Sam Burns like hung around for a while, didn't he? Then he got into a playoff.
Yeah, he shot like 5 under the last day, beat the average by like 7 or 8, and then birdied the first playoff hole in one.
Yeah, he hooped it from like just off the green.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, let's see what Vegas thinks about all this. Josh. Well, they think Tony Finau is the favorite, 6-1. So Tony Finau is currently in at 4 under par. Colin Morikawa 2 under, 7.5 to 1. Brian Harman is 8 to 1. He's also at 4 under. Scottie Scheffler, who is 2 over, 7 shots off the lead, is the 4th shortest odds, 11 to 1. And then everybody else is 22 to 1 or longer. And I do see a couple of interesting names in that list as well. Patrick, what do you see?
I see. I'm really hoping my guy Harris English can pull it together and win this for one and done glory. One under today. I think has a chance for sure. Coming into Sunday, he's going to be there. But I want to look at someone in that morning wave tomorrow, right? Someone who got it done this afternoon, kind of quiet. There's a lot of good names. Tom Kim, maybe, probably not. Really bad season. Really bad season if you're looking at Tom Kim. Billy Horschel's kind of interesting.
Yep.
Yeah. What is he, like 40-ish? 40 to 1?
Billy is currently 40 to 1.
So my only reservation with Billy is he's Josh's one and done pick. So I don't love that. So maybe I do pick him, give him the kiss of death, kind of mush myself, but play the long game. So maybe Billy and Jordan Spieth, 65 to 1. Interesting. He's driving the ball really good.
Dude, and he has been for a while. He's
really good.
He's long.
Yeah, long and straight, which is like not Jordan Spieth at all. His iron play is atrocious.
Oh, he's horrible.
But like, man, you see him hit drives and he's just picking up the tee so quickly, and it's center cut, center cut, center cut. It's like, man, I want to believe him when he says he's close to something. But if you want to have like a heart attack this weekend or do something crazy, instead of going out hitting the town, just bet on Jordan Spieth at 65 to 1.
Keegan Bradley gets to go out in the morning, 25 to 1. Would be interested in something of that nature. Okay, here's what's going to happen. We will be back, Patrick, Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, plus. They're letting us on the network more and more frequently now.
It's got to be you, Rick. You're the common factor.
No. I don't think
you are the common factor.
I think there's not a lot of sports going on this time of year.
No. NBA playoffs, MLB, NFL draft season, a lot of NIL news in the mix these days. Private equity is getting into the athletic department game. That's a whole different story.
Awesome.
So honestly, when I think about our inclusion on the network, it comes back to our faithful leader. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, all right. Then I accept. Thank you very much. And we will be back on the network Friday. That's tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern time, live with a Charles Schwab cut sweat. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? And we'll do our best and we'll be live and it'll be a lot of fun. And then we'll come back and recap it afterwards. So, hey, there's a lot going on. And I will like to thank producer Josh, who's doing all the hard work behind the scenes. That right there, Patrick McDonald at P McDonald CBS. You can find me at Rick Run Good. This has been The First Cut. We'll catch you next time.